Hello everyone, and thank you all for joining the routine meeting of KubeEdge SIG AI. And here is Zimu Chen, I'm the rotating host of May. For those who are new to this meeting, here is a brief overview of KubeEdge SIG AI. It is a special interest group that focuses on cloud-edge collaborative AI, which is a new paradigm of AI development and deployment that leverages the resources and capability of both cloud and edge nodes. Our mission is to leverage the resources and capabilities of both cloud and edge nodes. Our mission is to explore the advanced architecture design, technical implementation, and standardized solution of cloud edge collaborative AI. We currently have two subprojects under this group. This is Satana. Satana is a cloud edge collaborative AI framework based on KubeEdge. It enables developers to implement various collaborative chaining and inference functions across cloud and edge, such as federated inference, incremental learning, federated learning, lifelong learning, etc. It also supports seamless migration of existing AI applications to reduce cost, improve model performance, and protect data privacy. We also have Janus. Janus is a curated AI benchmarking suite. It provides like open source data set, baseline algorithms, test metrics, and standalone test capability for collaborative AI algorithms. It helps algorithm developers to quickly evaluate and compare the performance of different algorithms and promote more efficient and effective development. In today's meeting, we will discuss the progress and challenges of the two subprojects, also some future plans and opportunities. So today we have, as usual, two sessions, the international session and the Chinese session. In the international session, we will have Michelle present the LS Mentorship Program 2026 Term 1 QS Janus Comprehensive Example Installation. In the Chinese session, we have a brief overview, and then also the LS Mentorship 2026 Term 1, another project called Cloud Edge Simulation Benchmark for LLM Spectral Decoding in QS Janus, presented by Juntao. Okay, so let's get started. And Sam, you can share the screen now.
Okay, so hello everyone. First of all, good afternoon. So today I'm having a two pull request to show and review. So first of all, it is Cityscape Cynthia curve detection, which I raised last week itself, but I was not showing it because the semantic segmentation part was left, and today I'm having both the pull requests. So first of all, talking about the Cityscape Cynthia curve detection, I have just added some 100 lines of code and removed some 72. So let me show you. Okay, so these are the I have changed some 13 files, and the changes, first of all, it is in rfnet algorithm.yaml. I have changed the wrong paths and added them with the right ones. The spelling of like the path structure was not correct. Secondly, I've added some hyperparameters. So earlier these were not present, and because these were not present, I was not able to complete the pipeline. I mean, the training arguments in args.py, it we need the base size. Am I audible? Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, yes,
Hello. Okay.
yes, you are audible.
Right. So the args.py file, it picks up base size, crop size, batch size, and workers in the arguments. But we were not having this in the algorithm.yaml. So I added all of them. The values that I search these values that 1024 will be best so that we can train the models right now. So these are the changes in rfnet algorithm.yaml. Second, it's benchmarking job.yaml. Again, I have added the right path. I mean, that is, it is adjacent to the examples folder. Third, it is test.cnv.yaml, again I have changed the files and made them the right one. Then base model.py. So actually in base model.py, first of all, the first thing that I have done is that it imports the data loaders and utils. Without the rfnet subdirectory, the system path, so if this code is not present, then every single user has to add this command. Like he has to export the Python path of this specific RFNet folder. Now, if I'm adding this command or these line of code into the base model.py, then after that, this specific command needs not to be entered and it becomes automated. So this is better because again it will require the new contributors to add some more commands and it will again get more hectic for them. Second, which I've added, is that I have made the pin memory as false. So CUDA uses GPU, and if any CPU is not, if any PC or laptop is not having any GPU, then this should be false. If you are running Janus on some computer where GPU is present, you can turn this into false. I've added the same in the README, that if somebody is having a GPU, they can turn it, like they can make the pin memory as true and not false. Now, the third change, it is in the task allocation by origin. So there are three fixes that I have done. First of all, the task extractor. So here the pipeline was failing again and again because it was expecting giving out again and again in many of the rounds. So if somehow our training is taking place for some 39 rounds and 39 hypotheses are being trained, in some of the rounds it was giving out none, and because of that the pipeline was failing. So, and like if you can see that earlier it was written that if I get the arguments as default, it gives none in every single thing. So I've just added, if self.task extractor is equals to none, and the rest of the code is to make sure that the pipeline doesn't break and it gives none. And if somehow the specific training epoch is not giving the right results, it gives none and the pipeline still continues. Now, second change is non-safe sample path extraction. So while I was making sure that the example is restored during the unseen task rounds, samples can arrive as raw path strings rather than, so samples arriving, it was just a path, but it was expecting it to be like this path and depth path, and in somehow in tuples form also. So I've added this change so that somehow if paths are coming in two ways, first is raw path string and second is in this form, so our code can make so that a code can run in both the scenarios. So this code is just for that. And a safe dot get function, because the pipeline was expecting a dot get function with a default so that the pipeline doesn't break. Now in test.accuracy.py, so the old code rebuilt a full PyTorch data loader inside a metric function. This was wrong in two ways. First of all, the make data loader applies image transformers, and ground truth labels come out as float tensors rather than integer label maps, which was what we were wanting. And it also was correcting the evaluator's confusion matrix. So, and also the second problem was that while true at evaluation time is a list of path, not a base data source. So passing it to make data loader caused this attribute error that list object has no attribute X. So these two were the problem that were present in accuracy.py, and because of that only I had to make, first of all I had to import some of the libraries, that is NumPy and image. Then after that this specific change, so that the data is the data that we are sending to the next, it is coming out to be in tuples or in the format that the next function wants. So these are the two basic problems that were present in accuracy.py, and these are the changes that I've made. Now talking about in the this is the core part. Three core paradigm, I have made some changes in the lifelong learning paradigm. So first thing that was happening was that, so suppose I'm having 11 or 12 rounds of training that is happening while when I'm running this specific example. So one round gives some index to the next round, and the next round gives some index to the third round. Now the problem was that because of some bugs, wrong round index was being passed to the train, and because of that some pipeline was being passed. Because of that the pipeline was failing again and again. So I just made similar changes: edge path, edge task index path construction, some similar changes for that, so that this specific index can be passed correctly. Now this is the data loaders. I mean, these are all the guards that I've added. So suppose if the data is coming, if the data that we are using is zero, then because of that the pipeline should not fail. These are just for that. And in arguments.py again, so here I've added, just a minute. Here I've added these values. So this file is just made so that the hyperparameters can be used, the arguments.py. And in metrics.py, so first of all this division by zero guard, because at times the denominator was zero and the pipeline was failing because the next calculation was not working fine. And also in summaries.py, uh, de- there was a deprecated make grid argument. Torch vision, in the new versions of torch vision, it named it from range to value range, so I've just made changes of that. So these are all the changes that I've done. uh, yes, that's all. So any questions regarding all the changes that I've made? And I believe that I have to remove this change because it is something that is local to my PC, so I will be removing this, except this git ignore anything that is confusing you in all these changes.
Okay, thank you, Nishan. So we see some we also see some directory changes. So previously, in the certificate synthesis example, it is using the text environment like curve detection, right? So, but that one is, hmm. So currently, the curve detection and certificate synthesis is not the same example now. So we try to change all of them into the certificate synthesis, right?
uh, okay, so do you mean to say that in the next you will be removing curve detection? Is it like that?
No, I just said that um, currently the curve in the curve detection it basically I think that is only one data set now, right? It is for the car robotics, and so that is why the curve detection is different from the city-scale synthesis example. The
Okay.
system-based synthesis example is like some images that like it is more in the form of like automobile. It is riding on the road, but the curve detection in the curve detection example it is showing um, a robot walking in a campus. So I think that is two different examples. So I think it is good to change the directories to make it
Okay.
correct. But I just want to confirm that. So we are working on the case synthesis. That is why we change all the paths to this to that one. And we believe that it is basically two examples, right? So that is why we do that.
Okay, so Cityscape Cynthia should not include curve detection because Cityscape Cynthia is for flowers and curve detection is for some robotic modeling, right? So, am I correct?
Series case synthesis should as far as I'm concerned, it has several labels, different kind of labels, like road, I don't know, tree, um, building, something like that. It have a very various scope of the whole city scope. So,
Yes, I
but
agree.
the cloud robotics, it also they also have they may share some um, common label space, but the cloud robotic example is basically for is mainly tuned for curve detection, but the 6K example is not necessary for curve detection. Even I even wonder whether the 6K example also have the curve label. so that is um, that is not the main focus for cityscape. But I'm not very sure about that. So, Dr. Sijing, are you online? Um, I, 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 I have a little bit wonder about the division of the curve detection example and the case example. They are basically two examples, right?
Uh, yes, there are two examples. I think uh, the cityscapes example has a semantic segmentation, and the curve detection I think is different from the semantic segmentation.
Okay.
The curve detection one, I believe it is also for segmentation, semantic segmentation, because it needs the robot to detect the pixel-wise semantic, right? So that is what.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they both of them are for the task of semantic segmentation, but I'm not sure whether they belong to the same task. Um,
Okay, I see. So,
will
uh,
they then using the same model or sharing all the same label space, something like that? Do we need to
uh,
merge two example or need to change the directory a little bit? Like it is, for example, we can have another directory structure, like we have the curve detection on the very top, and then under the curve detection, we have cow robotic directory, and we have another like um, this Cisgate synthesia, something.
so yeah, so you mean we need to merge the curve detection into the semantic segmentation?
Mm,
Is that
I I'm a little bit because um ah semantic segmentation is a very large topic, right? So um, it can be detecting anything. In
yes.
yeah, so it if we directly call it semantic segmentation, it is a little bit like we create a directory called classification. so okay, many models and many tasks can be called classification, right? So but they are not doing the same thing. So um,
Okay, I think there's a difference between the curve detection and the semantic segmentation. It's the curve detection task is under the scene-based unknown task recognition. Yeah, it's different from the lifelong learning, I think.
hmm, um, I think we do not need to consider its algorithm because we can use many kind of different algorithm
Lifelong
for
learning, but
even the
yeah,
same
yeah,
thing.
yeah, okay.
We
Yeah, I see.
yeah. So the only question here is that it for all of us we prefer to make the two directory as one scenario, or we prefer to make it
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
as it
Okay, I
is.
see.
So
I got it. Hmm.
yeah, for myself, I if they are belonging to two data set, I preferring to at least put them in different directory, but whether they need to share the same parent directory, I think that is the only one question need to discuss. I think maybe we can make things more clear. First, we have the 6K synthesia data set. It is a name of data set called 6K synthesia. And then we in fact have another data set called car robotics. That is the two data sets. The most easy way to do this is we just put the data set name there. Another thing is that maybe we can abstract the scenario a little bit and call it like curve detection, and then put the two data set under it. This is another choice. And the third choice proposed by Dr. Jing, maybe we can have a call them semantic segmentation. And then under the semantic segmentation there, we maybe have two directory of car robotics and another is the cityscape. So I just wonder which way is better for our developers.
I think maybe we try the first choice, the easy way.
Then we just have the example, and under the example we just have the car robotic directory, and we also have another directory under example like the civic case synthesia, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay. Yeah. And any other different opinion? Okay, I don't see any. So I think that is the choice for our community now. So we will use the directory proposed by Nishan, which is and Dr. Shijing, which is we will not create any new directories, but just use the case synthesia, the name of the data set for this example. That is the conclusion for our very first discussion. Okay, this is the first one question I want to discuss. So we don't need to do anything. Second, is this example have any relationship with what Avish have done previously, like the pull request 297 have this how we differentiate the two pull requests? Is there any difference?
Okay, so I mean the pull request number 297 was related to robot lifelong learning, if I remember it correctly. And I don't think so that this pull request is in any way related to pull request number 297, because that is robot lifelong learning and this is Cityscape Cynthia curve detection. So not related in any way.
Okay, thanks for the clarification. I accept that. And then the final question from my side, I take a look at the code a little bit. We found a lot of printing function. When we want to print something on the screen, we use the print function, right? So it is fine for a single algorithm, but in cloud service development, we prefer to use like some logger or exception, something like that, to make because we don't know which kind of terminal we can use on the cloud services. Even some cloud services, they don't have specific the standard terminal to show anything. So we prefer to have some logger function to try to record all these things. So maybe we need to change the print function to logger functions.
Okay, so this is the first change. Okay, I will be adding this. Okay, done.
Yeah. Is it all from my side? My two previous question is already justified, and then we only left the print function one, and that is all from my side. Are there any other concerns from our community members? 特别是的事情 Do you have any concern or suggestions they would like to raise?
No, I don't have any other concerns.
Okay, cool. So after Nishan fix the printing function one, maybe you can scratch the commit into one, and then I think this pull request is ready to go.
Okay, understood. So, once my presentation is done, after that, I think I will still we will still have an international session. I will try to do this by, I will try to add this like logger functions by in this meet also. In this meet only, so that this pull request can be merged.
Cool.
Okay. So now it's talking about the second pull request, that is LFX term one, restoring the cityscapes in their semantic segmentation. So this is, I have added some 387 lines of code, and I mean the most of the lines are present in README only. I mean, just a minute. 341 are from README. Rest, not many files have been changed. Okay, so here I've changed some 10 files. Right. First of all, benchmarking. Again, the paths have been changed. In RFNet algorithm, again the paths have been changed. And in testcnv.yaml, again the paths have been changed. I mean the correct paths have been added. And in arguments, as like I was explaining in the curve detection, I have added some numbers so that they can work without any problem. And like for this self no CUDA and everything, I have so workers I have reduced from 4 to 0, because PyTorch data loader use fork based multiprocessing on Linux. When spawned from inside the Janus benchmarking process, uh, it fails. That is what happens, because if there are four workers, there is some deadlock sort of situation, which doesn't let the example run without any problems. Second is that I've turned CUDA true to CUDA false, but the reason is simple, because right, I've also added it in the README. If the CPU or the PC is having a graphic cards or GPU, then they can turn it into like true if it is true to false or false to true. That depends. Now, RFNet summaries again, in the new version of Torch Vision, the range is deprecated and value range is present. So I've made that change. Second, saver.py. This file is having quite a lot changes because it is present in RFNet. First of all, right. So when we were running the example, so it when we were running the examples, the earlier ones, the earlier rounds needs to be deleted, but they were not getting deleted. So I just first of all I added this. So if somehow I have gone from round one to round two, then the data of round one must be deleted, so that at least the space can be empty and it can be used by the other example. So that is all. And the lifelong learning examples, I mean, this change is in the paradigm, and it is in the lifelong learning. So the changes that I've added is that the no inference and hard example mining both iterates from 0 to the n number of rounds that we are having, and on each iteration we were splitting the data sets to the number of times. And it was not including the last number, the last we was if we were splitting the data set into 10 to 15, then it was not including in the last split that we were creating. So I just added the plus one, so that problem was solved. And now talking about the changes that I've done in sedna. So basically the changes are in 9 files. First of all, in init.py I updated this thing because one the semantic segmentation was expecting import update decision function from Sedna, which was not present. So I added this. Second, in the task update decision fine-tune.py, what changed was I added this update strategy default because it was not present at all in the function, and because of that only it was failing again and again. The semantic segmentation part was failing again and again. So I had to add this update strategy default. Update strategy by fine-tune was already present. Now this just the work of this function is just that when the example is running, it changes a little, changes a few things, like it gives some indexes to the other training rounds, and just because of that the example runs. Second, the third change is in the scene-task-learning.py. And in scene-task-learning.py, 4 guards have been added so that if somehow the data is not in the right format, the pipeline can still run. So if somehow the task definition method returns early, and task definition should not fail. Second, task allocation. There is a guard in task allocation. Then fallback method named lookup. We added a get param, and it we added a get param in the task definition again so that the data is in the right format. And at the last, that is scene modules, it lists comprehensions and it filters out none and modelless task group. So if somehow there are 10 training groups and some of them are not having any models, they will be removed out. And again, task remodeling. Yes, I've just added a guard again, not more any changes. In constants.py, I've added the directory of the edge kb directory because the semantic segmentation was expecting a sedna kb path, and this is a hard coded path. And yet again, if somehow in someone's pc this specific file is not present, then it will again fail. After this, the os is going to get the path itself while it will be searching for the sedna kb path. In init.py, I've added this x data date d type is equals to object because in some of the data set the object was not in the right format, and yes, it was again failing. In client.py, I have added some things that is related to kb server url because when we run the example, uh, just a minute. It's not running. Okay, so when we run the example, the code again and again tries to push all the code base change, all the data set that we have added to a specific server, which cannot be present locally. So I have added these changes so that somehow the pipeline doesn't break and the example runs without any problem. When this will be deployed and somebody will be using it, it will work fine because I've made sure that the current code changes does not break the existing ones, like the ones we do while deploying the things. And these are the two last changes. First of all, I've added a return value fix so that it doesn't break again. And in update function, I've made sure that it is not expecting it is expecting an absolute path so that the file is getting read correctly. That is now the talking about the eighth change. So yes, so in here the RFNet evaluator was returning a nested score, something like this, rather than this. This is what we were expecting, but it was giving out something like that. So somehow in one training cycle there are 39 to 40 cycles. It was giving out this 0.4, 0.4, 0.34 0.789, something like that, but we wanted the result into this. So here I just added all the score and I flattened it, and after that I sent the result to the next function, and after that the pipeline was working fine. These are the new evaluate and the new inference too. Actually, this function was being called in the examples, but it was not actually present, so I had to add it according to the function, according to the example that was using it. And yet again, the my evaluate function, it was again not present, and my inference function, it was present, but I had to make some changes because the model URLs, it was expecting absolute paths, but I added OS so that the OS can find the model itself in the Sedna repository. And yes, these are the only changes that I've done. I mean, not the only, some 9 files have been changed. So any changes that you want in this? Any doubts? Any changes?
Okay, thank you, Nishan. Um, Basically, it's fine for me. For most of the changes, it seems good to me. I just wondering what is the difference between this pull request and the previous one? Is that in the same example?
No, it is not in the same example. It is cityscapes in their curve detection, and this one is for cityscapes in their semantic segmentation. Actually, in the code base, we the cityscapes in there is having two examples. That is scene based unknown task detection, which is not what I'm solving. I'm solving the lifelong learning one, and in here I'm having two examples: curve detection and semantic segmentation. So this one pull, so the first pull request is for this part, and the second pull request is for this part. So I hope I'm clear.
Hmm. So they are both for the certificate example, right? So, oh no, sorry, certificate data set, but they are working on two different like algorithms. Um, you're working on the 4AA one you are showing now is for um, lifelong learnings and testing semantic segmentation. And then the last one is for
It was for curve detection.
curve detection. Because curve detection is one kind of semantic segmentation for me now. So that makes me a little bit confused. So, but at least um, the purpose is different, I think. Um, Before that, I even don't know we have curve detection on Zscaler. Okay, so maybe that is the thing now. Then we have two different kind of like task for certificate synthesis, which is the semantic segmentation, which try to segmentize everything. So, and for the curve detection one, maybe it is only focused on the accuracy of detecting the curve label. So, I think that is the main difference between the two examples. I wonder whether I have understand it correctly.
Oh, okay. I mean, I myself have to look a lot. I mean, then only I will be able to give you complete reasoning. Right now, whatever you're saying is correct according to me also. But I think I have to deep dive into both the examples again, because what is the reasoning for semantic segmentation and curve detection? Then only I can answer both the questions. I mean, once I deep dive a lot.
Great, and it will be appreciated. And thank you, Nishan. And after that, I think maybe you can add something like limit in the curve under the curve detection. Oh, sorry, under the cityscape synthesis directory. Now under for the synthesis directory, we have maybe two types of one is the lifelong learning one, and another one is also for lifelong learning, but it is for unseen task detection. and then it seems like their model have some different focuses, or their tasks have some different focuses. One is for curve detection, one is for semantic segmentation. So maybe you can clear the thing out, make it clear a little bit, and then every developer, when they click in the example, they can have some sense of what they are doing now. So I think that would be good for them to use the two examples. Okay, so that is for one thing. Another thing, when we come back to the for AA pull request, we see that there is, you can click on the core, the file changes. We see some directories. It shows a little bit. We have some personal names in the YAML files, like the test environment YAML. Previously, it had the name of Shijing there, and then you change it to Nishan, but most of them are not recommended. Yeah,
Okay.
we just don't use. You can change it like some related task or something like that.
Okay, sure. Okay, so I will be changing it. Right.
Okay, that's it for one thing. The final one is we as we have seen just now, the the CI test is not completely passed, right? We have some failure on the CI testing.
Okay.
So
So
we need to fix that. But I wonder
actually,
what is wrong on this pull request leading to the failure of the CI testing.
okay, right. So I have added a new wheel because I have made some changes in the Sedna for both cities. For curve detection and semantic segmentation, I have made some changes, and I have added. Just wanted to ask, all the changes in Sedna, are they correct? If they are correct, I will be removing this dot one wheel. I mean this the earlier wheel, and I will be keeping the new wheel that I've just pushed. If the all the changes in Sedna are correct, then after that the pipe I will make the pipeline work.
Um, I'm still a little bit confusing. Can you repeat the situation a little bit?
Okay, so actually, so when I was making sure that both curve detection and semantic segmentation of Cityscape Cynthia they work correctly, I had to make some changes in the Sedna wheel. So
Why do we need some changes on the Sedona wheel? So we have some data
uh,
set. I don't know, data set interface changing, or I don't know, other changes. What have we changed in Sedona wheel?
I mean, all these changes that I just mentioned when I was explaining 488, we have made all these changes because a few things were not present, a few things were not being guarded, because if the data is not in the right format, they were throwing an error, and the pipeline was failing again and again. So I had to make
Mhm.
some changes in Sedna wheel, and these are all the changes. I mean, if you look at it locally, these are all the changes that I've made, and I converted the changed into a wheel and I pushed it. I,
Mm.
this thing was even mentioned in the proposal that I submitted initially. I mean, the mid evaluation, and after discussing again and again, it was we came to a conclusion that I will be, rather than adding a completely new Sedna wheel, we will be changing this 6.0.1 into 6.0.2. This was discussed, and this is what I've done.
So this 0.60, sorry, 0.6.0.2, is that a new rule or it is the existing new rule? It is a new one, right?
It is a new one. I mean,
So how many rules do we have in Sedona? Sorry, in Janus now?
actually, if we look at it, just a minute, we have two wheels right now. Currently, we use 0.6.0.1. We install it, but a few changes were required so that a few examples can run. So I made 0.6.0.2. So currently, we're having two
Hmm.
wheels. We do not use these ones, third party PK. We do not use these ones. These are just present.
Hmm. Um, so will the change in the 0.6.0.2 be compatible with the change of 0.6.0.1?
Yes. So the changes that are present, I mean, I just unzipped this wheel and I got Sedna SRC. It's just a minute. So I unzipped this zero point 0.1 wheel and I got this Sedna SRC. Then I made the changes in this Sedna SRC and I got the zero point 0.2 wheel.
Okay.
So, I mean,
And the
did I
change
get it?
on that, we are adding new functions or we do change something.
Actually, the changes, only one function has been added and its name is inference 2 because that was required. The functions were calling inference 2 but it was not actually present, so I had to add inference 2. Rest I had to make a little bit changes, like my evaluate and my inference, a little bit changes had to be done. And yes, these are the only changes. Rest, all the changes that I have not made any changes in the function. Here I have added a completely new function, that is update strategy default. Then in the scene task learning, I've just added guards so that if it is getting a data set which is not in the right format, it still doesn't fail. In task remodeling, just so that if somehow the data is not in the right format, it returns none and the pipeline still continues. In constants, I've added, earlier it was having an absolute path, which because, and at times it is going to fail in many new contributors local local Yanis repository, because not everyone will be having this var lib sedna kb. But after adding this, the OS is going to search for it, and if someone is not present, it will create it. And again, I have added some uh, d type is equals to object. So again, the pipeline should not fail, and this is just so that it the when we train the semantic segmentation, uh, when we train the the model under semantic segmentations example, it requires some links, it requires some servers links so that it can push the data set to there. So I've added just these so that when locally it is being tested, it does not fail. These are the only changes. I think it is not more than 150 lines.
Hmm. I think the key part here will be whether we have changed any interface of Bednar that could lead to failure of other examples and the consideration of capacity. So um, for all our changes in the Sedna wheel, are there any changes that is related to the interface change? That is to say that the name of the function. Do we have any changes on the name of the function or the the pa- the parameter we put into the existing function? Do we have any changes on that?
I have not made any changes in the name of the function. I have not made.
Mhm.
I've just
Mhm.
added a new function itself. This
Mhm.
inference to it was the lifelong learning.py. It wanted inference to, but it was not getting inference to. So I just created a new function for it according to the needs of lifelong learning.py. Rest, I have not made any changes in the names of the functions. Only few
Okay.
changes, few guards have been added in the function so that the pipeline doesn't fail.
Okay, cool. So I think that would be fine. So basically, we believe that 0.6.0.2 will is compatible to the previous one. So I think it is safe to accept these changes on the wheels. Um, but we need to. I think maybe we need to add some README for the wheels. So what is to show the difference between the wheels we are listing in the third party directories. So, um, so at least you have now listed the changes for uh, um, from 0.6.0.1 to the 0.6.0.2. So I think that is good. It is a good summarization, and I think you should need you should put it not only in the pull request comment, but also in the third party directory. So
Okay,
the
understood.
difference between them. If we have similar recording for to differentiate the difference between those two or four views, you can try to put them together. We have under the third party directory, we also have a complete README, and then it shows the difference between all the different views. And so it could, yeah, I think it could help the developer to check which view he is going to use. So basically, what is our suggestion? Maybe if a newcomer comes and he want to develop a new, brand new example, um, so which view you are suggesting to import? Maybe the latest one, or I don't know.
I will expect them to use 0.6.0.2, the
Okay.
newest one that I just pushed.
Cool. So I think you can put that statement on also on the README, on the new the third party README.
Okay, sure.
The very first sentence is we like recommend developer to use the which we will, and then you say the um, difference between different views. I recall that we do have some discussions on the difference of the wheels, right? I have forgot it is which pull request it is, but we do have some discussions before, right? On
I think
on the proposal. Oh, on
yes.
the proposal.
Just a minute, let me check. I think that yes, we did had.
So I think you can um, put those statements, yeah, for the comparison of different wheels. Also put these statements also in the new third party README. So I think it
Okay,
will make the thing much um yeah, much clear.
so this was the comment that I made because we were having some Sedna 0.4.1 we were using, which is very new, and it is not. Earlier, I thought that it was completely compatible, but then I ran the code again and again, and 0.6.0.1 was more compatible. So that is why we made changes in that, and then I made changes in that to make it 6.0.2.
Yeah, and I believe in the main content of your proposal, there is some discussion on the summarization of the difference between the views. I think the main
I
context, not
think
right. I think right in the proposal content itself.
I think yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Okay, so
we are
actually it's not a comparison. It is just that why we are not using zero.
it
Why
is
we are not
a
making
justification, right? So
right. It is justification.
it is saying we are adding a new 0.7.0. So currently we don't have 0.7.0, right? So we have 0.6.0.1, right?
Actually, I think that I made some mistakes in renaming. I will be
So
changing it.
which one would be the correct one?
I think why we release 0.4.1 actually preserves it. So it is saying that we had to make 0.4.1.1. But let's see. I think if according to this, I should be using 0.4.1.1. This is what we should be using.
Okay. So I think in the second aspect, sorry, for the third party directory, we have the two, like currently we have the 6.0.6.0.1 and point 2. But in the under this directory, we also have a third party backup. Right? So there we also see some like 0.4.1 or something like that. Yeah.
Right.
So that made me it confused to me. So you are saying we are, in fact we should use 0.4.1, right? So then the new 0.4.1, what is the difference between the new 0.4.1 to the old 0.4.1?
So actually, according to the docs, or I believe that I followed some instructions from Aryan Nanda. Aryan he's one of the earlier contributors to the repository. So when I was talking, because when I started solving Cityscape Cynthia, I was not able to work. So asked him. So he said that we must use 0.6.01 because it is more compatible. So that is the reason I just unzipped this part and I converted. I added changes and then I made it into 0.6.0.2. Now
Okay.
talking about we are not, and I also checked the documentation of Janus. There also we are using this one only and not this third party backup, that is 4.1, 4.5. I think these are very early version. I think these are very latest version of Sedna, and that is why they are converted into wheels. But to be
Um,
compatible with all the things, I think that is not the case, because I was in contact with Aryan Nanda and he said that continue with 0.6.1. I think that when I was writing the proposal, I believe just because these are the latest versions, I think just because these are the latest version, I myself thought that these will be more compatible, but that is not the case.
Yeah, okay, and I think the things makes clear. So now we are using the 0.6.0.1, and that one is fine, and it is different from what we said in the proposal, like 0.7.0.1. That is not the 0.6.0.1 is the correct one. Um, and so I think you can still put those statements um, in the proposal and try to revise it a little bit to trying to stay the difference between its wheels.
Okay, sure.
Why
I will
is
be adding.
and I think that it helps for the developer to understand why we are using the 0.6.0.1 or 0.2 other than using the 0.4.1. So my suggestion is finally we will have a README. We will add a README in under the third party directory, which is to justify that it is a justification of usage for this use for these wheels. And you put the changes you have made on the 6.0.6.0.1 and make it to 0.6.0.2. And then you also move some statement in the proposal, trying to say why we are not using the previous one and why we need a new one. Yeah, then I think then everyone should understand. Okay, then for newcomers, they need to use the 0.6.0.2 right now. So others, then the certification I think is complete. Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Okay, thank you. So then after all this is done, I think the 0.6.0.2 will is accepted by the community. And then so back to our CI issue. So then what should then what will your will be your next step to fix the CI problem?
Okay, so I just have to delete the 0.6.01 wheel, and after that, this issue will be solved because the only problem is that, uh, right, there is a conflict between the two wheels, like which one to install. So that is the only thing. If I delete the first one, the second one will be installed itself, and there will be no problem.
Do we need to delete them, or we just change the CI file to install the new one?
Okay, just let me check. I think. Uh, I will look into it. Currently, it just install whatever is present in third parties folder. So I
Okay,
just need to make sure that we have to install this specific file. Either I will
okay,
just be adding the file's name, that is this. I think this will solve the problem, and I think
okay,
this CI will work fine.
okay. Then I so I think it will be good. So maybe because for the third party directory, in fact we in the future we might have other third party report or third party wheels that need to install. Um, so maybe we keep it simple and try to keep all the changes in one wheel. That would be fine. So maybe, I think your previous suggestion is now sounds acceptable for me now. We if we make sure that the other wheels are most of the wheels are sorry, the 0.6.0.2 wheel is compatible to all others. So we just let that one and and try to delete all the wheels. But I wonder whether it is fine. So will the 6.0, sorry, the 0.6.0.2 wheel is compatible to the 0.4.1 and zero point 0.5 wheel?
Okay, I will do
Because
that.
it try to install everything, right? So that means maybe for the backup, even for the backup directory, it needs to also it needs to install the wheel. So if we seeing all of them are compatible, we just it is the recommended choices for us to leave only one view, and from now on we just add new changes into the only view, but not reserving many views for Sedona. So then that saves the burden of maintaining all these views if we make sure they are compatible. So it could the process will be a little bit painful, but if Ms. Shen can try to check a little bit for us and find the examples previously we have merged, and check that whether the wheel changes will affect the existing examples. Like we have merged about 3 or 4 examples, right? So I wonder if we in those merge examples, if we use a 0.6.0.2 will all that merge example was fine on that environment.
Okay. Right. So
Yeah,
I will be looking into the wheels and whatever is required, like adding the readmes first of all,
yes.
and then whether so many wheels are required in the repository or not. I will also be looking into it.
Yeah, check a little bit for the real requirements for, especially for those examples that you are tackling previously. Yeah, you can specifically look in on that. For those examples you have not yet trying to fix, I think you can just for now you can just leave it there, and we will keep trying to fix examples one by one, right? So you just focus on the example that you have tackling during the LS manager program. Make sure that they are working all right using the 0.6.0.2 view.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, then I think all the concern for the new will be clear after all the example is checked.
Okay. So I think I will be showing it in the next meeting. I mean all the changes in both the pull request,
Mhm.
and I will make sure that it is ready to be merged by the next week.
Okay, cool. Thank you. You will be very appreciated. Then we have made another great contribution to the whole committee. We make sure that make it much clearer for how we use the Sedona wheels and all bugs that lead to the previous old Sedona wheels. So that would be a very important improvement for the whole Janus report that it can affect all the examples that we are working on. I believe the number of our Janus example now have reached like 25 or even more. So that would be a very significant change and significant improvement for our experience of developing using our Janus examples. So yeah, then we will looking forward to all those changes. And thank you, Nishan. Yeah, thank you thank you for your all the hard work. We will be very appreciate it.
Okay, my pleasure.
Okay. Are there anything we need to discuss from Nishan's perspective?
Okay, right now, no. I mean, that's all.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Oh, then I think we have a very comprehensive discussion on the two example, which is good. And looking forward to the further changes. We have C on the two examples. Yeah. Are any other thing we need to discuss in the international session?
Yes, I just had a doubt. Good evening, everyone. So,
Hello.
at during the last meeting, I've mentioned that I was looking into the smart coding learning bench, and all the issues that I found, like it being completely non-executable in a fresh environment. So, before I, spend more time to understand what is actually going on there, I wanted to know if the community wants a mentee to take over this restoration of this particular example, or is it of a low priority right now before the release of the v0.303 version?
You are saying what is the priority for this particular example, right?
That, and also if the community really wants a mentee to take over this or not. That's what I wanted to inquire about.
Um, for all examples, we of course want the those examples that are already in the Janus report can be fixed, and that is why we call the project like comprehensive example restoration. It means our final target is to fix all the examples in Janus. So every example is important and necessary for in the long run. Um, but it is it indeed do have potential priorities for community members. It depends. For example, those examples that are I don't know have more significant research or business value could have higher priority. For example, like I don't know, LLM projects may have higher priority than very naive example using some linear regression, something like that. And because LLM is currently is widely used, not only on cloud environment, but also on the main focus for the whole cloud collaborative AI community. Um, that is only that is also one part of the evaluation. We want the mentee to have the sense of okay, how to select example and how to balance the priority of all examples. Do we randomly select one example and trying to fix it or not? We choose this example because we believe that this example is having higher value than other example, and it sounds interesting. It have very urgent. It is solving a very urgent issue for the not only the KubeEdge community, but also the whole AI community. So that depends. So we also looking forward to everyone's pretest. In the scoring, you will see something like I have a little bit I don't remember it quite well, but there is some section called motivation. That part trying to let the mentee um, is to explain why he selected this example and why this example is important, or why fixing this example is important, why this bug is needed to be focused right now. So in the motivation section, it is in fact it is important for the reviewer to know whether the mentee have the sense of priority selection to try to rank this example and try to fix the most urgent, most important examples first, and then have a and he can guide the community to like building future development plan. So I think that is an important quality and criteria that we select a mentee for the LL's mentorship program. So for this part, Nishan have been doing a very good job. He have a very long list of examples to fix, and he's trying to fix those important ones and those ones that are used more than others. And I think for the next mentee, whoever he or she is, we will treasure and appreciate a mentee that has such kind of sense that knowing what he or she is doing and and can express it just all right and very clear to the community reviewers and making everything on the track. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for the answer. But I just wanted to clarify that I was not asking that question basically mainly from the point of view of just the mentorship. It is just that all of the time that I've engaged with the code base and especially for the examples, I just find this particular example as smart coding something special to work on, and that's why I wanted to know how the community actually views this and how it wants to work on it, not just from the POV of the mentorship and the other things. So yeah, that's why. Thank
I
you.
think that depends on every member itself. So maybe everyone have their own opinion. Not
Yes.
not just the not just what have said by the maintainer, not all from the higher leaders are saying it's just all right. It depends on all the contributors and members in the community. And we need to, that is, if we find them important and interesting and very valuable for the whole AI community, it is our, not only mentees, not only the candidates of the mentees, but also for all the active members in this community, they need to convince others. So, you need to focus on we have limited energies for our very valuable reviewers, and we may not have everyday meetings on this issue. We only have one meeting on 1 week. So what we are discussing. So is that example valuable enough for our community to especially taking time to review it, and will that makes great contribution to not only this example but also for other examples or even for the whole AI community. So that depends. So we also would like to see our active members can try to explain a little bit about why we need to do this. So now, we
Yes,
are also
I
to
get that
all.
because like all the reviewers and everybody are like taking time off of their busy schedules because they genuinely have a passion for doing this. So yeah, so we should also value that time. And I particularly like this because after this particular example was made, there has been no development on this. So it is like what was made initially, and there have been a lot of changes, maybe in Sedna or overall in the AI community and the LLM usage, and those changes have not been updated into this example. So that is why I found this, let's say, interesting because there has been no building block rather than the basic one. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, that is one kind of direction to justify the motivation. So we see the potential in this project. You can describe it a little bit more in the statement to make it more clear for all of our community members. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, any other issues to discuss in the international section? I don't see any. So I think thank you all for coming, and I think that is the end for the international session this week. And we will have another international session next week at the same time for the routine meeting. And then thank you all for coming, and we are going to end the international session and entering the Chinese session. You are all fine to stay, but in the international session, we are using Mandarin Chinese in case some of our members cannot speak the very fluent English. And we are very happy to have you all. I'm looking forward to your future contributions and valuable discussions in the routine meeting. Yeah. Thank you again for coming. Yeah. Okay. So that is the end to the international session. OK， 然后我们就来到中国环节。然后老样子，我们快速的过一下总体的情况。OK， 首先我们老样子POC 这边，第一个是我们接下来的speculative decoding 的项目，那君涛可以给大家稍微介绍一下现在的进展。
好的，谢谢子木老师。然后我是这个 speculative decoding 模拟 benchmark 的学员，然后应该这周目前的进展是应该这周就大概能够应该就能收尾吧。我刚完成了这周刚完成了那个相关文档的 readme 的那个撰写，然后预计最近2天应该就会合并到仓库。大概就是这样。
我们待会也会继续看一看君涛这边的的 pull request。这是然后接下来是其他的项目，其他项目其实也我们包括有具身智能的相关的项目，对吧？然后 agent 相关的项目，还有一些隐私保护相关的项目。然后隐私保护里面呢，有一块比较特别，比较联邦学习。联邦学习它其实一方面是分布式学习的一种好的机制，然后另一方面它其实某种程度上也能保护隐私，因为它基本上是数据在哪，我的计算在哪，所以它其实是不需要数据去到一些其他的地方，这样的话它的一个数据合规其实是更加容易被保障的这样的一个联邦学习的机制。然后这一块呢文涵那边的工作他也写了一个文章，然后呢目前已经交到我们的社区编辑下面，然后他们已经拉了个群，然后顺利的话就这1-2天就会发出来然后我看他们群里面已经开始在做一些必要的一些修改了大的修改已经改完了，然后就可能一些毛刺的，比方说有些链接丢了，然后什么之类的，那就修一下之后，可能顺利的话，甚至可能今天就会发出来。就是这个就关于联邦学习的文章。然后另外是看看，我觉得下面可能比较重要的是之前石金老师带的校乐这边的对金鱼的云协同推理，有云边协同推理其实还挺受人瞩目的，就可能可以找时间。
对，那块我更新一下，就是现在来说，就下一步跟希望那边也说了，基本上可能我这块来主笔来写一个，然后我希望就大概是差不多下个月吧，我觉得下个月应该可以，就6月份写出一版出来。
好啊。然后我们 对，然后到时候看时间老师什么时候合适，对吧？你有个初稿之后，我们可能就例行的在会上稍微讨论一下。然后这是这个，然后另外那个军涛这边LLS 如果到时候看吧，我们一方面是那个项目本身，对吧？那个马上反正到尾声了，然后呢，到时候我们一起看，一个是那个这个研究的一些延续的工作，对吧？就我们还可以继续研究下去啊。然后另一方面是也可以考虑有一个阶段性总结，一方面是那个本身订阅论文的需要，对吧？然后这个也很好，然后我们大家也可以帮你一起打磨一下。然后另一方面，其实也可以考虑，就是到时候也放一些阶段性工作，然后到公众号上面来，然后大家了解一下。因为毕竟那个 speculative decoding，尤其那个云边协同的这一块的大模型，开始受到越来越多的那个关注了。就这块的那个工作其实也是非常有价值的。我惊讶的发现，最近我们公司内部也开始有人在讨论，然后那个想法好像跟我们也有相似之处，对吧？也是都是在讨论说在鞭策做 drafting，然后这种那个 speculative decoding 的这种方法，我觉得可能如果我们有一些往外走的一个计划的话，可能确实也可以早点那个讲出来的，就是这是这个。然后另一方面，可能也那个研究的步伐可能也得稍微加快一些，就这么一个OK，这是这款。然后蓝案子我们就还有一些那个，一个是调研，然后第二季度马上也结束了啊。然后如果大家有一些 AI 和机器人方面的一些需求，然后有还没有处理的 pull request 或 issue，有新的课题，然后有文章要投递的，都可以通过这个问卷联系到我们，我们也不定期的会去查一下这个需求问卷啊，是这个。OK，那大概是这么一个情况。然后接下来那就来到我们最后一个议题，那个俊涛这边的 speculative coding 的项目。
好的。嗯，然后就是按照上周的要求，一方面我是把那个 README 重写了一下，然后录了一个视频放到 README 里面。然后我不确定现在它能不能渲染出来。OK，应该是渲染。就大概录了一个运行的时候的一个视频。然后别的好像就没有太多修改。然后刚才有位同学评论了，我刚才才看到他在我的那个 PR 上做了一些评论。嗯，然后我这个是刚开始看，我可能还要再修改一下这个。
哎，就我看他那个评论主要针对那个代码，好像是那个代码质量的问题，就是那个
对。
呃就是这个你看一下吧，就是就我看他的意思好像是说，就是现在那个代码有个地方就是可能复用写的不是很好，就是说他意思是不是就那个结构上有点嗯，就我理解他好意思就是说你那个是不是有地方他那个复用啥有问题啥的，就是你看一下他这
对。
个提的是不是合理的？就如果是合理的，或者说反正你在下面也回复他一下呗，就是说他这个
对的，
是。
我后面要看一下，然后我回复一下。
对，然后就是我看你那个你 README，现在更新上去了嘛？就你 README 上最好还是再加一下你那个运行的结果，你把它也贴上去好了。就它那个，
运行结果就是
就是
控制台的
它那
输
个对对，
出全复
控制台输出，
制上去嘛。
对对，控制
哦。
台输出那个东西，就它那个输出的本身就是一个就是一个你可以直接粘到 Markdown 上，它就是一个表格的那个形式。
哦。也行，我是只取了里面一部分那个内容，然后拿出来。
呃， 对，就是你还是放一个完整的结果在上头吧，就让大家知道你
好的，
大概预期跑出来的结果是啥样的。然后
就是从开始命令到跑完整个控
不不，
制台的输出。
就是控制台最后的一个输出，它最后它会有一个那个榜单嘛，就是那个 Yanos 它那个 benchmark，它最后会输出一个榜单，就相当于是你那个最后就是你那个它里面最后输出的那个东西。
OK，可以的。
对，这个东西还是放到那个 README 上，那就是你那个最后它输出了会有一个那个排行榜，一二三，就类似长那个样子的东西，就它那个一系列的。那个东西把它贴上去，贴到你的日 e 上。然后，就是我看你那个 resources 也要改，对吧？就是那个
对，那个
3.0.6.1、1.6
will
那个，
也要改过的，是。
嗯，就 will 主要是那个谁，那个你身上是不是也在改那个 will 啊？就是如
对，它
果
它可以要升到0.2。嗯，如果我们现在改，可能需要跟他沟通一下，就说看我们的那些修改跟他有没有那个重复，因为他的那个项目其实没有那么着急，所以我建议那个就俊涛可以待会就发邮件给你 Shen，然后跟他说你做了那个will 的一个修改，看到时候因为你也是从那个0.6.0那里开始改的吧？
对，我就改了这个。
对对对对，然后那他看看他能不能等你这个合入之后，然后他在你这上面继续加，就这样子弄可能会比较好。按他那边的成果肯定是够他 LFS 的通过了，对。但咱这边可能还确实需要一个代码的，嗯，可能比较着急，就可以跟他商量一下，看看到时
嗯，
候我们是讨论完计划是让你先合，然后到时候他在你这上面继续补那个那个 will 的修改，这样子可以跟他打个招呼。
可以可以。
嗯，
他的邮件我
就那
在哪儿？
你可以点开他的账号，然后一般 GitHub 的账号上面会
哦，
有他的联系方式。
到时候我把那个你身上邮箱发给你也行，发给徐涛，反正他之前经常给我发邮件啥的。嗯。
那太好了，那更好。
嗯，行。
哦对，想起来我也有的，看一下。哦，那是 notification。没事，我们继续吧。然后待会我找一下，应该我也有，说明现在就能发给你。OK，然后我觉得这个可能比较着急然后另外是看一下那个，确实我甚至建议你们看看是不是现在就能看一下那个他们的那个评论，好，我们尽量把他们那些评论的都解决了，然后就尽快的，对吧？这一两天给他合了。
对他这个评论，我今天马上就看吧，马上看完，然后晚上就会修改。呃，他说到了用 dynamic，我记得我是没有用这个的，我好像后来删掉了，可能我没删全。
就你到时候 check 一下，就是说，如果
嗯，
是，就是它有可能你现在又更新了新的嘛，它这个 comment 可能它是之前5天前给的 comment。
好，哦，对。
OK，所以按理来说应该不存在这个问题，对吧？
对，因为这个应该是3.5才用到的，前面3.5才用到的那个开始。然后我后面没有跑3.5。
OK，好的。然后你可能要回他一下，回他一下。然后呢，
嗯，对。
然后没啥，那看看那个就是主要是看石金老师吧，就是看看有没有什么
嗯。
尤其这个 PR，看看怎么有没有其他要需要军涛这边。
呃，就我觉得那个俊涛，一个是呃，一个是那个你把那个readme 再更新一下，就 readme 还是写的好看一点，要不然因为 readme 太差，大家看到 readme 就没有兴趣再往下去做那个复现啊
哦，好。
或者啥的。 对，然后就是我觉得其他的我觉得没啥问题，就是你再把他那个 comment 再回复一下，把那个 comment 回复一
嗯，
下，就
对，
是
我后面再确定一下，我再把它所有的都确定一下之后，然后我再给他一个统一回复。
对对
嗯
对，是的，就是其他的没啥，我觉得就是首先那个 FX 那个评价我已经通过了，就是他那个最终
啊，那就好。
就是那个，对
嗯，
对是的，那个没啥问题。然后我就觉得金涛就是尽量明天吧，明天的时候到时候把这个改完之后，然后这个 comment 也回复好，然后到时候我们就准备合了，然后就是把这个。嗯，相当于是说就是你到时候都弄好之后，你在群里再艾特我和子墨老师一下，然后我们就尽快就把它给核掉。
嗯，好的好的，明天之内我做。
嗯嗯，是，
嗯，对，那也别忘记那个跟我把邮箱放到那个 chat box 了。
对，我也发给
然后
金涛了。啊，
对，我看到了看到了。
好，然后那个我也写下 comment 吧，就是说KubeEdge SIG AI 是建议先和这个先和群涛这个 issue，然后到时候群涛也给他发个邮件，然后没什么我们就先和这个，然后到时候然后在你线那边可能需要在你的这个 view 上面再改一改。话说回来，你在
好的。
Sedna 这个 view 上的修改大概是些什么东西啊？你可能需要跟你炫也
对，我会
到时候也
给他说一下，其实就只有一个文件，对，只有一个文件，就是联合 joint inference 那个文件。
OK
对，到时候我会在在那个邮件里面和他说清楚。
OK 好的好的，
嗯，
因为是我们在 Joyful Insurance 上面某种程度上相当于修改了原有的范式嘛，对吧？这
对，
是为什么会有这个修改。嗯，OK 看看有没有其他要讨论的。
我这
啊，
边应该没有太多问题，没有问题。
那我们就两个事，一个是那个跟你现在的 discussion，然后另外是处理一下那个现有，就他也是 LBS 这一届的那个 candidate，反正他们都会选一些那个自己的 选一个我们已经有的 PR，然后去做 comment。但按理来说，你已经跑通了，对吧？其实他那个 comment 应该按我理解，即便是真有那啥，应该其实是不影响你的只运行的，对，应该还好。
嗯，
而且刚才
对
讲了，很有可能其实是刚好是他
对，
不够巧，
他这个是5天前的，
比较倒霉，
我也
对，那他比较倒霉，那个选到了一个正在做的 VR，然后所以他的评论很可能就过时了，嗯
嗯对
，this could be outdated。
嗯，就反正这个就也回复一下呗，就是你可以说，如果说现在没有这个问题了，你就说那个是最新版已经修复了，对吧？
已经修复了，对，嗯
嗯对，我后面一起回复啊，对。
嗯，好
，OK，
了，
对，
嗯
然后看看，那我们应该没有别的要讨论的，对
嗯。对，然后行，那君涛就 OK，就先把那个明天反正到时候弄好之后，就在群里艾特我们一下就行。
对，那我们就把这
好的好的。
好嘞。行啊，那我们今天差不多各个议程讨论完啊，那个谢谢大家参与啊，然后我们
嗯，
下周再做进一步的讨论。
好的，好，
哎，好，各位，拜拜。
拜拜。
好，拜拜。